Hi, happy Wednesday. I'm going to do a bit of chatting over some video. I'm not putting my face on camera this week for a few reasons. Check out this beautiful rainbow cloud. So beautiful. This last week's been pretty tough. Some more things have come to the surface, quite literally in some aspects, and I'm kind of ready for the rebirth. I've put a little picture of some crows here because I started noticing the crows again a couple of days ago. They sort of came back to me. They were very, very much around me at the height of my awakening in March last year. And then I moved house and I didn't really see anything of them until a couple of days ago. So I'm feeling the ramping up of the energies, the same as everybody else. Lionsgate, new moon. I'm going to write down my hopes, dreams, wishes tonight, and I'm going to have a little meditation after I've put some words over this footage. I hope everybody's feeling good. Hang in there. It's tricky. Apparently the Schumann resonance was really spiking yesterday, and you can feel it. You really can. So hang in there, everyone. Hello. So while this wonderful video of the beauty of creation is playing, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the first 7 years of the life and how that's where the core programming is set. Bruce Lipton believes that 95% of how we live our lives are through the subconscious programs downloaded into us within the first 7 years. And he talks about how children below the age of 7, they operate in a brain vibration of theta waves, which is a lower brain function than consciousness. Theta waves are imagination, pure imagination state, also hypnosis state. So kids don't even need to do anything, they just observe and watch the environment, their interactions between the parents and everything that is around them. They're just soaking it all up, they're just observing and downloading the programs. And so along with the good come the bad, and the bad are not spoken about as much. They're not spoken about openly by parents. And you know, all this stuff should change. When I had my children was the start of my awakening. They were here to change my life. They were the catalyst for the initial change out of the darkest of my despair into something more resembling the light. But it's still taken me years to understand the lessons that being a mother is all about, and the transference of energies genetically and epigenetically, and how we operate these energies, these auras, these electromagnetic fields, and where the loops in the brain and the neural pathways are formed and associated with fears, anxieties, insecurities and all that jazz. So it's really super duper exciting that all this stuff is becoming more readily available. During my awakening, I feel like my journey has been about understanding energy held within my body and allowing myself, without the fear, to experience higher vibrations. This happened to me profoundly during the use of psychedelics, where I've had countless mystical experiences, and experiences that I feel like have been literal rerouting of the brain. I was shown on 2.5 grams of Liberty caps picked from a field a few miles away from here. I was shown how to feel these higher vibrational feelings that I'd blocked myself out from through my unconscious programs and beliefs that I'd been programmed with. I was shown the highest states of love and ecstasy and joy and orgasm and grace and peace, and I was also shown the peaks of my own fears, and I understood what was going on consciously during these experiences. I sound like I'm reading off a script, but I'm not. I'm just trying to sort of get my mind out. I had an experience where I saw the inside of my brain, but it was shown to me as like more of like a technological hub. It was like a domed metal building with quadrants in, and within these quadrants were lots of busy things were going on, tubes, and neurons were being fired, lights through tubes, and it was very, very interesting. Another side of my consciousness was communicating to my other part excitedly that this was the reprogramming. And this was during the trip where I was rolling around on the bed in the fetal position. It was so profound. But I understood during that experience that the more you release the fear and you surrender, the more you can feel of the higher vibrations, and the more often you feel the higher vibrations, you know, the more it strengthens the connections of the synapses between your neurons and your brain. And so there's a process. Did I write it down somewhere? This is all connected with like the neuroplasticity of the brain and the synaptic connections between the neurons and how it gets stronger with practice and repetition. So that's where affirmations and mantras and real routines like making sure you have your own time, looking inwards, meditating, daydreaming, taking naps if you want, going out in nature, all these types of things to reprogram the more effective networks of your brain, And I've been thinking a lot about Elon Musk's Neuralink, and although I see that there is some potential to really helping a lot of people, the potential for misuse and manipulation far outweighs the good for me at this moment in time. And I really wish that as a humanity we could look more towards the nature of plant medicine and organic remedies, light, sound, art, music, therapy, fucking tuning forks, Reiki, past life regression, whatever. All these different modalities that we have to essentially reroute our own brain. But as we all know, you don't get to really see the light until you've danced in the fucking darkness. So it's sort of like, and it's very cliche and seems to be topic at the moment, but it seems like it's the dark before the dawn. Oh dear, so I've had a heavy week and loads of tests and challenges for me personally, both in the subconscious and the conscious, the metaphysical and the physical. And it's pretty ironic what's been literally cracking as well. But I'm not going to go into it now. I've had a difficult week. I had a peak of real bad darkness the other day, and thank God I allowed myself to sit with it and feel it and let it out, and it came out, the tears and the rage and the boiling point, and I was completely shocked, and I felt really sort of down on myself for my reactions and my projections, and then I had to forgive myself, and as soon as I did, the shift occurred. I've felt deathly calm since. My heart rate hasn't risen, although, you know, I can kind of feel the chemistry rising within me. Basically, I've chased down my demons, and I'm willing anymore to come out for the final fight, you know. I'm in preparation for my own regenesis, my own rebirth, my own change of trajectory, and I'm ready. I've not been sleeping, but I'm feeling really tired now. I've been trying to do this fucking video all day, and it's taken me way longer than I wanted to, you know, and it looks like I've done nothing, but I was trying to. I've changed my mind, you know, baby steps, but oh, fucking hell, yeah. I've been consuming a lot of energy and sifting through it and sorting through it and clearing a whole load of fears. I'm ready for the rebirth. I've got some footage coming up now of the phoenix, and I love the myth of the phoenix and how it rises from the ashes. And I always think about Dumbledore in Harry Potter when Harry witnesses I've forgotten the name of it. The phoenix burst into flames, and then, you know, Dumbledore explains a bit about the phoenix to Harry, and he says that the creatures that carry immensely heavy loads, but that the tears have healing powers. And I really resonated with that always, and, you know, I think that the human is much like the phoenix, and we've just forgotten that. So the power is in us all, the immortality of infinite energy and consciousness transference, you know. And we're just sort of preparing ourselves, I think, to step into our own mastery, you know, in different kind of ways. I'm realising what I was guided to consume and find out knowledge or information about certain things over this last year that were literally downloaded into my brain after this mystical experience I had. They're really coming into play now in terms of I'm understanding why for my bigger picture that doesn't need to be done by tomorrow. I just need to go with the flow. So I guess while I've got these visuals, I'll talk about one of the mystical experiences I had, where I was laid in the bed and a big green flash of light appeared out of the blue. This was during the peak of the dark night of the soul I was enduring, which had been a couple of weeks long already. A big flash of emerald green appeared in my bedroom in the middle of the night in the pitch dark, and then a 3D iridescent translucent 3D crystal with a million faces on appeared out of thin air, hovered around in the air, and then dissipated, and I was downloaded a few sentences of things that I needed to look into. And it still shocks and amazes me to this day. And I think the mystical experience, the transcendental experience, the spiritual experience, I've had a good handful of these through experiences with psychedelic drugs, but also through completely sober states since awakening. I think during those states is when the brain is at its most malleable, the neuroplasticity is open, and the opportunity for the electrical synapses, you know, the connections between the neurons in our brain, to be reformed. I've had profound experiences where I've understood this was happening to me, and I was shown different types of experience. And ways this was working. I'm not sure if I've just said this in a different clip, because I was talking about when I felt like my brain was being worked on and rerouted, and the experiences that I was shown and the guidance that I was given. It's super exciting. I'll have to expand on it more, and I'll have to listen back actually to see if I've even mentioned it. But yeah, it is incredible stuff, and I'm really proud of everybody who's on this journey and who are sharing their learning and their wisdom and their ideas, to help each other, to help humanity, to help ourselves. And the education and information of things like the neuroplasticity of the brain and transcendental experience through meditation or psychedelics, the mystical experience and its healing potential is really being brought to the forefront at the moment, and I'm super duper excited for it. It's one of the main things that floats my boat. I love listening to people's trip reports and observing how different people interpret their experience. Personally, I've always felt like, although there was guidance around, that I was still connected, fully connected with the guidance, as in it wasn't apart from myself, it was a part of it all, which I am. And while this little visual's on, I'll tell you about another experience I had where I was laid in my bed and I'd had magic mushrooms, and it was a tricky part of the trip, and I rolled over to the window, looked through the curtains, and a huge pillar of white light was coming down from the sky straight into my solar plexus, that looked like, and I had the sensation of my soul being sucked out and up through this pillar of light. My lucidity and my rational consciousness, my bit that wasn't letting go, pulled the soul back down through the tunnel and into my body. I didn't want to go up there, I wasn't ready for it. I was thinking about earthly things, but it was another lesson in surrender. These mystical experiences, they take months and months to process, and once you do process them, your consciousness ups a level and you get to experience such beauty that is here and around us all the time. In my personal little theory, I do think that there are levels and states of awarenesses which will match up in some sort of grid or format, or a scientific theory, whether it be quantum mechanics or Rupert Sheldrake's morphic resonance theory, or I don't know, anything like that. But everything is here within our system, and we just perceive so little of it, and we perceive 95% of our lives through the subconscious programs which were created within the first 7 years of our lives. Just over and over again, we are blinded. We're blinded by the programs. And for me, being in the deepest, darkest parts of despair and learning from those allowed me to find my way back into the light.